This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No. Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, November 10th. I am Tori in a dress that is very tight. How are you guys doing? I love that dress on you. You look great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
It doesn't look tight.
It's fine. I can breathe. I can breathe. We're fine.
That's great.
All right. I am Tori again with Eric and Al. We're grateful you're here. We do want to say that now that vaccines are available to kids ages 5 to 11, a lot of parents are deciding what to do. Maybe you're one of them. Well, Matthew McConaughey is weighing in, saying his 3 kids are not vaccinated and that he is against mandating the vaccine for children. Here's what he told the New York Times.
He just said we can vaccinate kids. Right now, I'm not vaccinated mine, I'll tell you that. I still want to find out more information. There's going to come a time, though, and there has already in these last 2 years, obviously. You know, there'll come a time where you're going to have to roll the dice one way or the other and go, where are the numbers in my favor?
The U.S. Surgeon General, though, disagrees, saying COVID is not harmless in our children and that vaccines are very effective in protecting kids. Take a look.
So what I would encourage parents to recognize is, number one, COVID is not harmless in our children. Many kids have died, sadly, hundreds of children, thousands have been hospitalized. And the vaccines have shown in these trials for children 5 through 11, they're more than 90% effective in protecting our kids from symptomatic infection. And they're remarkably safe as well. The kind of side effects they saw were a sore arm, fatigue, headache. They lasted for a day or two, and kids were actually left with protection from the virus. So please consider strongly getting your children vaccinated.
Was Matthew McConaughey spreading misinformation, or was he just voicing his opinion?
Can both be true, Erica?
Yeah, I think the issue, why we're talking about it is because it's Matthew McConaughey and he's expressed interest in running for office. I do think both can be true, but I think when you pontificate out loud, knowing that there is possibly a political
gain.
I don't know if they can be true in that situation.
But it's also a potential political hit. I mean, because a lot of people are very pro-vaccine. So, I mean, we always say, like, what side are you coming down on with the abortion debate? But I think right now, for our time, this is more relevant to almost everybody's household. So I'm wondering, like, first of all, why would he speak out on this?
He's clearly, this to me reads like he's running for governor of Texas. This is, I'm taking a stand. I have a political platform that I'm building.
But Greg Abbott is not very popular in Texas right now.
Matthew McConaughey is running away with it, even in the polls. Now, I don't trust the polls all the time, but I'm saying this to me is a move with his foot over the line. I'm running.
Well, it's also kind of splitting the baby because he's vaccinated, but he's saying that he doesn't want his children to get vaccinated right now, which honestly, I don't know if that's necessarily an anomaly. I think that there are a lot of households where the parents are vaccinated and they're like, we're going to wait on the kids. So, I mean, I'm not a parent. You're the only parent on this panel. So what's your feeling about it?
Well, you know, my 2 oldest, 13 and 14, they were vaccinated almost as soon as it was possible. But the youngest baby, Ford, who's 7, just was vaccinated Friday.
Oh, that's
so,
great.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
That's a big deal.
You know, that screenshot was sent all over the family. But that was a decision for our family because Ford has been sick for a lot of his young life. So I definitely understand parents' apprehension. But I would encourage everybody, once we pass this coronavirus, if we ever, fingers crossed, pray, please, that we also take the same attention that we're taking with corona and also think about the other things that we're giving our kids and what we're given to put on their bodies, put on top of their bodies, like sunscreen, you know, things like that things I didn't think about until I met people like Sam. So I'm trying to be a better parent and know more about everything, including coronavirus.
Well, first of all, to me, it's not contagious, so it's different than coronavirus. And I have to be honest, I don't know when this country got okay with thinking their critical thoughts are bigger and smarter than the FDA and the CDC. If they tell me to get the polio shot for my child to get into a school, I do that, which we've always done. So even the Pfizer CEO came out today and said anyone spreading misinformation is actually criminal because you're losing millions of lives to this. And I strongly believe in that. I know that's a strong take, but these kind of ponderings of should I get them vaccinated? Should I get it? There's a mandate. We need to follow the mandate to get out of this. And I don't like this independent thinking of, I can just go against it because I think I know more than a doctor or a scientist. And am I wrong?
It's a strange place.
It's everything's very politicized. Like, as soon as you said the CEO of Pfizer, then everyone's like, oh, well, it's the CEO of Pfizer.
Right.
Which I can have respect for. Is it the message or is it the messenger?
Right.
But I think that's the issue. Everybody has, like, who's saying it?
Right.
How are they saying
Yeah.
it? What party do they represent? And that's how I come to my conclusion.
And this is also, really quickly, this is not new. All my friends that were doctors, man, I'm old. My friends have been doctors for a decade or more now. But when they were in medical school 10, 15, 20 years ago, they were telling me people were coming in with printouts from WebMD.
Right,
saying, Doc, I know you went to Harvard,
Yeah, I know.
but the sheet says.
Yeah,
the
but
sheet says
Facebook says, right.
So this has been going on in the medical community for a long time. Online has a lot more credence than literally somebody that went to Harvard.
Very true.
Until we get past that, I don't know where we're going.
I just wish science weren't political. I wish we were back to that. All right, we have an update to the Aaron Rodgers story we've been following.
Did something happen with that?
Yeah, you know, there's this story, you might not have heard about it. The NFL is fining the Green Bay Packers $300,000 and star quarterback Aaron Rodgers nearly $15,000 for breaking COVID protocols. Yesterday, Aaron appeared on the Matt McAfee show.
No, Pat McAfee.
Pat
You
McAfee.
saw it coming in the monitor and you panicked.
I panicked like a little child. I panicked like a little child on the Pat McAfee show yet again, and this time took responsibility for misleading folks about his vaccination status, sort of. Take a look at this.
I also know how sports can be such a connector and bring people together in times of adversity. And I do realize that I am a role model to a lot of people. And so I just wanted to start off this show by acknowledging that, you know, I made some comments that people might have felt were misleading. And, you know, to anybody who felt misled by those comments, I take full responsibility for those comments.
Beep, beep, back up, reversal. Aaron's fiancée, Shailene Woodley, is also defending her man. She posted on Instagram saying, quote, news outlets still grasping at straws to disparage Aaron, finding random bleeping men on the streets of LA and saying it's him. I know Aaron's body very well. First off, his feet, ahem, and no offense to this rando dude, are a lot bigger. Shailene also said Aaron's hands are the hairiest on the bleeping planet. So there was a picture of a man that they claimed was Aaron Rodgers. It turned out to not be. That's what Shailene Woodley was referring to.
Well, I can see how this can happen because when my husband and I were in Mexico, a group came up to make sure from far away that he wasn't Aaron Rodgers. You see my husband? So, and they look nothing alike.
They look alike
at all. But it's the longer hair with the baseball cap. So if you have long hair and a baseball cap and dark features,
you're Aaron Rodgers.
You're Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I don't know if this was a backing up. He pretty much said
like
it was very much like, if you were offended, I'm sorry you were offended. Like, that's not
it's the anti-apology apology. It's like, I'm not sorry I said it, Erica. I'm sorry with how you took it.
Wait, hold on.
And it's a different, it's a way to get out of it without really apologizing. Like, I was completely wrong. That's a different apology.
But he did say, like, I didn't deceive anyone at first, and now he's like, I may have. There's a little bit of the brands are dropping. He's already lost an endorsement from a health pharmaceutical company. Right. There's a sense of a publicist being like, let's fix this a little. Am I right?
I don't know. I think the publicist probably should have written the statement because he straight up said, I can only be responsible for what I said, not how you chose to interpret it.
And also, can the publicist help his girlfriend, fiance, with her post? What is she, a 16-year-old at the mall sending that?
I know.
Hey, y'all need to back up and let me tell you one thing. You don't know about this man's feet. Like, what?
It's social media.
How old are you, 12?
It's social media. That's
She
how
sounds like
people
a
talk.
5-year-old.
Oh my
Don't
God.
come after my man. Like, what? Your man put a lot of people's lives in danger.
I agree.
So either don't post anything or use punctuation, but you got to pick one of the two.
Oh boy, we got a grammar lord over here.
It was just a very weird post for a grown woman.
And yeah, I agree. I wish they'd just take that responsibility. I completely agree with you guys. All right, stick with us because coming up on DBL, you do know him from Law & Order and Full Metal Jacket. Oh yeah,
Is
it's
it me?
Vincent. No, not at all. It's Vincent D'Onofrio, and he stopped by DBL to talk about his new movie with Viola Davis and Sandra Bullock. But first, alcohol monitors could be in every new car by 2026. We want to hear from you. Is this a good idea or too invasive?
Closed captioning provided by
Okay.
Erica, you
Perfect.
are
I'm gonna set it aside.
one of the most fiercely loyal partners that I've ever met. Would you ever?
You guys signed the book Friday.
Oh yeah. Is today your last day?
Today's the last day.
We're just having an
Okay.
inside conversation.
Yeah, sorry about
But
that.
I was going to say, have you ever sent a social media post on behalf of your spouse, and Tori, you can answer this too, on behalf of your spouse that was like charged like that?
No.
Would you?
Well, yeah, if
Of course.
there was like a public outcry against my husband, then yeah, I would say something. If he was saying
Are we
something,
Thursday?
if he's not
No, what is
saying
it,
anything,
Wednesday?
I handle social media like backlash
Kelly?
a little differently because
Are we on YouTube
I have
right
a
now?
lot of empathy
I
for
can't find us.
the social media backlash I get the most often.
I got it.
I feel
I got it. Thank you.
sorry for people.
Also, Kelly,
like,
are we putting up a picture
it just
of
it really
that
like 'cause
guy?
a lot of times I can understand
Aaron
like
Rodgers?
I've been in that place where like somebody was in a position that maybe
didn't
I
I feel
felt
like it didn't read the way
I
I
should
said
be
it.
in,
If you don't have the
or
picture.
she's not that great type thing. Like I've been that person before in my lowest moments, so I empathize with it. So I don't know how I would handle it.
I mean, it's somebody that you love being disrespected. I wouldn't even mind her standing up with the whole like big feet thing. I thought was weird and just, I don't know. I just thought it was a strange defense from a grown woman. Tori, I thought you said she was like one of the most highly educated. Shailene.
Shailene Woodley, she's a super granola hippie, independent thought thinker, great actress, great singer, but very into that hippie, like, I make matcha.
See, everybody's into that until they get sick.
I
And then
know.
they go to the hospital.
I know.
Everybody's cool with
Sierra's
it.
all,
Yeah, it's so annoying.
I know.
I'm like, stick to the plan.
That's what,
Go get some acorns.
Welcome back to DBL. So there's a lot in this new infrastructure bill that just passed Congress, but one provision you may not have heard about would mandate alcohol monitoring equipment in all new cars. Could this happen as early as 2026? More than 10,000 people died in crashes involving alcohol impairment in 2019, and the hopes are that these devices would prevent most of these deaths. So DBL Nation, we want to know what you think. Do you support adding alcohol monitors to new cars? Yes or no? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Just so we're on the same page, it's not a breathalyzer. You would put a button, and the button would read if you're impaired or not. And that is what it is. And people are saying, on one side, this is great, and on the other side, this is super unconstitutional. Thoughts?
I don't know about
Unconstitutional?
Yeah, you haven't had a probable cause or a search warrant to ask about your body given to something that you're in your own car that you paid for. You now have to give information, and if I'm not a drinker, I still have to do it. Oh no!
Yeah, but I mean, if it's passive, then you don't
It's not
have
passive.
to do
It's
anything.
reading your skin cells.
But that's a push to start, just like any other
No,
car.
it's reading it. It's not just a button. It reads your skin cells and tells you in your body if you're impaired. And for some people, that's too much government in their body. I'm just saying what the other side is going to say.
I don't see the downside in this, Erica, and I feel like and Tori, I know you're presenting both sides, which you have to. I think, and this is a little conspiratorial, I think that there's going to be a lot of dark money pushed against this, and I'll tell you why. The world runs on chaos, Erica. Cities run on DUIs because DUIs bring money to the state. You have to take a reckless driving course. You have to do all these things. Your insurance goes up. So there's other insurance companies that just insure people with DUIs. The entire system is set up for bar fights and tickets and domestic violence,
So, like,
everything. It needs it to eat. And when you take away something as big as the revenue generated from DUIs, that has already been taken away by Ubers, I mean, I don't know how a lot of municipalities can deal with that because that's probably the bulk of their money.
That's an interesting take. And also when people are looking at that, look at how many casualties, like what that give take is. Like, okay, so we'll sacrifice X amount of people for
This
X
amount of money.
amount of dollars.
Right, right.
I hadn't even thought of it that way.
And they might use that this is too invasive to say they want to stop it as an excuse for them to continue getting all of that money.
Right.
I'm just letting you know, when people had seatbelts, they found that was too invasive. This is reading your skin. A lot of people are going to be upset and say, I don't want this in my own car that I paid for of my own money. And they're going to try and say it's unconstitutional. I need a search warrant, or I need some kind of probable cause for that.
Well, vintage cars have always been in vogue, so I'm sure it'll continue that way. It'll just be like a 99 Honda.
97
You
Honda
just keep getting a
Civic.
car that's the year before the technology's in there.
Started.
I got that
All right,
2025, baby.
Do you support it? Yes, 58%. No, 42%. Interesting. Coming up on DBL, our interview with actor Vincent D'Onofrio. From his roles in TV to film, which character gets him the most recognition in public? That's coming up next.
Prediabetes is a serious health condition where blood sugar levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in 3 American adults are pre-diabetic, but the CDC says more than 84% of those people don't know they have it. A simple blood sugar test will tell you if you're pre-diabetic. The problem is, many people aren't getting tested for it. Dr. Griffin Rodgers, director of the National Institute of Diabetes, Digestive, and Kidney Diseases at the NIH, says undiagnosed and untreated prediabetes can develop into even worse health conditions.
If you have prediabetes, within the next 5 to 10 years, you have a 50% chance of developing frank diabetes.
If patients aren't getting tested for prediabetes, then is there another way for people to know if they're pre-diabetic? Let's verify. Our sources are the CDC, the American Diabetes Association, Dr. Michael Berry, Vice Chair of the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, and Dr. Griffin Rodgers. Our sources say the short answer is no. There's not a way to know if you're pre-diabetic without a test. But according to the CDC, some people are more at risk for prediabetes than others, including being 45 years or older, having a parent, brother, or sister with type 2 diabetes, and or being physically active less than 3 times a week. According to the American Diabetes Association, quote, there are no clear symptoms of prediabetes, so you may have it and not know it. But before people develop type 2 diabetes, they almost always have prediabetes, unquote.
The task force recommends that for adults aged 35 to 70 who have overweight or obesity, that they be screened for diabetes and prediabetes.
So we can verify, no, there is not a way to know if you're pre-diabetic without a test. So if you want to know, just ask for a test at your next appointment. With your Verify, I'm Adiande Till.
Welcome back to DBL. Who deserves a second chance? Sandra Bullock's new movie, The Unforgivable, tests that very question. Earlier, we were joined by one of the film's stars, Vincent D'Onofrio. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
Please welcome to the show the mesmerizing force that is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Vincent, welcome to the show.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. Oh, so first and foremost, we're all big fans here. You're so talented. And the remarkable Viola Davis, very talented as well, plays your wife in this movie. But this is actually the second time you two have worked together. How was this experience different from the time that you guys worked on Law & Order together?
It was much more, I guess, intimate is the way to say it. We got to know each other a little bit. Back in the day when I was doing Law & Order, everything, you know, we worked so much, Kate Irby and I. And so when the guest stars would come in, we would spend a little time with them, but not a lot of time. Whereas with a movie, it's a completely different set to be on. And so it was really nice. You know, she's such an amazing lady. And also, as you know, she's just an incredible actress. So just to hang out with her and talk with her and play her husband in something was fantastic.
John, there's a woman in the front yard.
Can I help you with something?
Vince, obviously, this is a heavy movie, and we've been hearing a lot of bad stuff from sets, but I'm hoping you have some fun stories from set involving Viola.
The most strange thing about the whole thing was we were doing it when we went back to we had to stop when COVID happened in March, and then we had to take a break, and then we went back. And when we went back, it was Netflix was one of the first companies to come up with how to do it and how to do it right and safely. You know, so we had to wear masks and shields and stuff. But Viola and I had never done a scene together yet. We didn't play husband and wife yet. So now we find ourselves on a set wearing masks and shields for rehearsal, and you're only allowed to take them off when when the camera's rolling for real. But so that was like, we were wondering, like, how are we going to do this? Like, we can't, like, at that point you couldn't even touch, you couldn't. So we had to figure out a kind of looks between us and just a kind of vibe rather than, because when you leave a house, like if there's a scene where you're with your husband or with your wife and you have to leave the house, I usually kiss my wife goodbye or whatever, but we couldn't do anything like that. We couldn't even, touch, really. It was pretty crazy.
Got to be tough for an actor. So can I call you Vince or is it Vincent? What do you prefer? Al just assumed
you can call me anything you like.
Al just said Vince, like he
I really did. Like, we've been hanging out for years.
Yeah.
I feel close to him. I've been looking at him for
but
years.
what if he doesn't prefer Vince?
It's actually, it's actually Vincent, but I don't make a big deal about it.
Yeah, that was a little dig at you, Al.
I deserved it.
We're going to make a big deal about it.
We're kidding, Vincent.
So, Vincent,
go ahead, make a big deal.
You've had some iconic roles from Law & Order to Full Metal Jacket to Kingpin. So when you're out on the street, which one is the most recognizable to fans? What do you get most?
It depends on the age, Like if anybody in the military, any age they are, it's Full Metal Jacket, And anybody in there from 20 to 30 is Kingpin, and then everybody is Law & Order. So I would say right now the most popular is Kingpin for that certain age group.
I don't understand why we don't have sugar water for you.
Give me sugar.
No one gets you from Men in Black.
That wasn't bad, actually. That was pretty good.
Sir.
You really committed to that, Tori. I'm impressed. That could have gone really bad.
I have butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah.
I have vocal work.
Like, that might be the end of our show.
Okay, here we go. Your daughter, Layla George, has recently made headlines regarding her divorce from Sean Penn. Divorce we take really seriously, and it's difficult, and we're honest and nuanced here on the show, especially though when it's made publicized like theirs. Just wanted to know how she's doing, how she's handling the extra eyes all on her.
She's great. I'm really lucky to have a daughter like Layla. She's a fabulous woman. The story is not really about their love life because I'm a dad and I have to stay out of that stuff. I just know that my daughter is a level-headed woman and she's going to do what she wants to do as a woman in this world. So the real story is that. The real story is that what kind of woman she is, which it's pretty amazing.
Wow. Good dad.
Jeff is a little watching.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Jeff's a father, so
yeah, it's
hit him right
beautiful
in
to
the
hear
heart.
father talk like that.
Yeah,
it
is. It's very admirable. Vincent,
and thanks for skipping over Jeff like I'm not a father of three.
Because you were.
Al's seen his kids a few times, pictures and the like.
I was responding to that. Jeff had tears in his eyes.
Okay, maybe my tears are on the inside.
Okay.
My tears were the embarrassment for Tori when she said sugar walk.
Okay. Vincent, thank you for your time. Thank you for putting up with us.
Yes.
The Unforgivable drops
you
on
guys
Netflix.
are great.
Thank you. On December 10th, but will be released in limited theaters this month. Vincent, thank you again for joining us. We'll
Appreciate
be right
you,
back.
brother. Thank you.
Bye.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
There is, it's a palpable sense of urgency this year among employers who are looking for seasonal workers.
This year, employers are trying hard to convince you to work for them. Want proof? Just look at jobsiteindeed.com. More than 10% of seasonal job postings there mention urgently hiring. Last year, those words only appeared on 1% of postings. Workers are still in short supply. Some are taking their time getting back into the workforce after either getting laid off during the pandemic or quitting. And frankly, it pays to be choosy. If you're looking for a side hustle this holiday, keep an eye out for how an employer is sweetening the pot. Amazon, for example, is offering a signing bonus of $3,000 in some locations, plus an extra $3 an hour for working certain shifts. The bottom line, do your research and don't be afraid to ask for what you want. The extra money you make will help. The holiday season will be more expensive because of product shortages, among other things. And that's connecting the dots. Alexandra Lewis, 9 News.
Have you been to the store and seen one of these signs? It claims there's a national coin shortage, and in response, they ask for either exact change or contactless payment. So, is there a national coin shortage for businesses? To find out, we went to the Federal Reserve and the American Bankers Association. Here's what we found. There's not an actual shortage of coins in the United States. According to the Federal Reserve, it increased production of coins in 2020 by 20% to mint more than 14 billion coins. So where did they all go? Well, apparently back home with you. The American Bankers Association sent us this statement. Quote, "The problem is COVID-19 has changed how coins are being used, causing a slowdown in coin circulation. Fewer consumers are using the change they receive in cash transactions to make other purchases. Instead of going back into circulation, the coins are piling up in piggy banks." So what's their solution? It comes down to you. Check your pockets, search the sofas, go through that change drawer, find America's change and get it back into circulation at your local businesses or bank. So we can verify, yes, there is a shortage of coins in circulation for businesses.
Move over inflation, make way for a new term, skimflation. Let's connect the dots. More and more folks are fed up with companies skimping on customer service. Delivery times for Domino's pizzas have gotten longer. Disney hasn't brought back its tram service at its theme parks, and airline passengers suffering massive, seemingly random flight cancellations, as well as hotels cutting back on daily housekeeping. Experts say the suddenly shoddy service is a result of labor shortage and rising business costs. Instead of passing along those costs, some businesses cut corners in services they provide, often without telling you. And folks have noticed overall customer satisfaction is at its lowest levels in 15 years, and skimflation is likely partly to blame. I'm Audrey Casoreno, and that's Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. If you're still looking for health insurance for 2022, you are in luck. It's time for some helpful tips presented by Health Markets. So do you really need health insurance? The quick answer is everyone together, yes. But if you haven't decided on a plan or haven't started looking, don't worry. This year's open enrollment season is longer than usual, so you'll have until January 15th to pick a plan. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all option when it comes to healthcare, so be sure to comparison shop to find the most cost-effective option for you and your family. Health Markets can help you find a plan in minutes. Just call 1-800-390-9633 or log on to healthmarkets.com. Health Markets. Love that slogan.
I don't know if
that's it.
I don't know if you nailed it.
It's
but
Health Markets.
I think that's good.
Nailed it.
Our last ad spot with them.
DBL is at new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.